And this morning, there's a disaster declaration in place for Lincoln, Elbert, and Washington counties. State emergency managers say the governor made a verbal declaration to free up extra resources there. Those storms turned deadly. That car you were just looking at from Sky 9 from yesterday, her car was swept off the road in Watkins, and sadly she died in that flooding. Firefighters were able to rescue 2 other drivers. Atwood, Colorado also got hit by flooding. The whole town impacted. Look at that. Water is up to most of the houses in that area. Scary situation. Thankfully, it seems no one was hurt. At least we're not dealing with any reports right now of injuries when that tornado touched down in Highlands Ranch yesterday.
Yeah, but it'll leave behind a lot of damage. That's where Corey Rose is live this morning. Corey, as you can imagine, and as you are seeing right there, a lot of damage. But I want to know how scary that was for you and your family and everybody else living in the area when you were getting those alerts to take shelter immediately.
Yeah, I've never experienced anything like this yesterday. You know, we got the warning on our phone. We all went down to the basement. It was very scary. And then when we got the all clear, we came upstairs and we walked outside and we saw all the damage. It was very scary for our family, for sure, with 2 little kids right in the middle of the day. And then for all the residents here, you know, I mean, we all just went down to our basements and waited it out. And it sounded scary. It was very powerful. So once we came up, we got to see all of the damage, and it is intense. I'm going to step to the side so you can see. So huge trees that are just decades old, massive roots ripped right out of the ground. This tree from a neighbor's house actually fell onto the neighbor's truck here, which you can see under this huge tree. The top of the roof of this truck caved in. You can see the window shattered there as well. Obviously not moving it, I'm sure, for insurance purposes, but a lot of people were out kind of looking at damage like this. Some siding was ripped off, fences were ripped out of the ground, and then I'm going to pan over a little bit over here so you can see just some of the trees that came right out of the ground, ripped out of the ground. Everyone was out here yesterday with chainsaws trying to kind of cut down things, make way for, some of them landed in the roads, some landed in the middle of driveways, and then panning a little bit more, you can see some of the fence that was also ripped apart, and we're going to show you a little bit more of that. Some people's backyard fences just completely gone. We're going to move up the street right now, but as I said, this is my neighborhood, and so it's incredible to see this. I've never seen anything like this. People who have lived in this neighborhood their whole lives have also never seen anything like this. They were talking about how this looked like a scene out of a movie. It was so scary. We're going to move over so we can show you someone's backyard where the metal awning that they have was completely ripped out of the ground, the bolts, the bricks, and everything, and just crumpled up and thrown to the side of their property. And as we mentioned, the preliminary damage track of this tornado was more than 6 miles long, and they're going to be surveying the damage today to really see what size of a tornado this was. So more to come on that. Thankfully, Ed, it sounds like things much calmer planned for today.
Yeah, they are going to be much calmer today, as you know, and you know, I lived out there, as you know, with Highlands Ranch for 23 years, never saw anything like that. And part of the problem too, the ground is so saturated, a lot of those trees pulled out rather easily due to those strong tornadic winds. So yeah, lots of problems as a result, as you know. Well, let's take a look at our satellite picture. You can see just a few scattered storms moving into the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles. Otherwise, not much going on around here. We do have a little fog in some areas. Could see an isolated storm over the foothills, maybe a storm over northeastern Colorado later today. That is really going to be about it. We'll roll it right into tomorrow, where we see lots of sunshine around here, and we will see with the sunshine a warm up. So yesterday 75, today will be 85, and then we will see 84 degrees on your Saturday. Sunday we are at 81 degrees, and then look at your Monday and Tuesday. We stay in the mid 80s with plenty of sunshine. Now I am just the break between the damage control that we've got going on. So let's go out to Courtney once again, and you too are seeing damage from that tornado yesterday.
Yes, Ed, we are seeing a lot of damage. I'm here in Highlands Ranch along Glenwood Lane and Prairie View Drive in this neighborhood here where the National Weather Service is sent out that preliminary path of the tornado. This neighborhood is right along that path. You can see behind me here, trees that look like this are widespread all around this area here. A lot of tree limbs down, a lot of big old trees that are also down in this neighborhood that fell on people's houses, broke their windows, were in the driveways, things like that. A lot of what we're seeing too is stuff like this. shingles everywhere, patio furniture everywhere in people's backyards. Some of it stuck in people's trees. We can see here at this person's house that they got some work done yesterday. Were able to pile up some of their fence that collapsed and got broken during the storm yesterday, but clearly there was some cleanup efforts here yesterday. But South Metro Fire Rescue is telling us that people were hurt by hail that fell in Chatfield State Park, but no injuries were reported from that tornado. First responders received somewhere between 116 and 282 calls for help between 3 and 5 p.m. yesterday, mostly in Highlands Ranch. Lila Scott sustained a lot of damage at her home. She used to have a covered deck, her roof separated, and they lost 3 big trees.
I just saw this wall coming at me this way, and it started to get darker, and I was sitting upstairs and decided that I had an alert, and I heeded the warning. Normally I don't. Went down to my basement, into my basement bedroom closet, and it just made it in there, and I had this big pressure in my head and in my ears just go boom.
Yeah, so Lila says that she feels really grateful and lucky that, that all of this could have been a lot worse, and they're just happy that no one was seriously injured. Like Corey was saying, people who have lived in this neighborhood for 15, 20 years say that they've never seen anything like this. They've seen extreme winds, they've seen blizzards, they've seen it all except for a tornado, and now they have that here in this neighborhood. So the cleanup effort is going to definitely continue today. I can tell that neighbors got a lot done yesterday in the hours after the storm, but there's still a lot of damage out here that I think is going to be occupying people's time for a while. Brianna, back to you in the studio.
Hey, good morning, Courtney. That is right. So we're seeing a lot of damage, debris, and trees down. So you definitely want to give yourself plenty of extra time and try to avoid that area, the Highlands Ranch area. So right now you're taking a live look west of I-25. This is C-470 for those heading down Yosemite Street. We're looking pretty good. But I do want to talk about a road closure that we're tracking right now. This is all due to that flooding from yesterday, right at the intersection of Gun Club Road at East Jewel Avenue. Again, that area, you're going to see a lot of standing water. So give yourself plenty of extra time. Again, that's all we're tracking right here in your traffic center. Back to you, Erica.
Brianna, thank you so much. It seems like just about any time we get heavy rain like we've seen the past couple days, we see sinkholes like this one in Englewood. That's on Oxford Avenue. Eastbound side of Oxford closed between Santa Fe and Windmere. Of course, you can see that massive hole in the road. Englewood police and road crews haven't determined when they can fix it. Of course, they're telling people to avoid the area.
Overnight, we've got pictures of hail, videos, flooding, and of course the tornado that touched down in Highlands Ranch. We're going to keep checking back in with our crews out there throughout the morning.
2 days of hail and heavy rain, 2 nights of concerts at Red Rocks, leaving many feeling like they didn't get enough warning before the hail started falling. The first weather delay on Wednesday night was at 8:07. The all clear came about an hour after that. Concert goers say a second weather delay came just after 9 o'clock. 10 minutes later, an extreme weather warning, and it was just too late then to find shelter. Around 9:50, West Metro Fire was called in to help, and along with the stadium medical, they treated more than 100 people there. 7 were transported to the hospital. They're all expected to be okay. Now, that number doesn't include people that ended up driving to the hospital on their own, and right now comes all of them trying to just recover.
Many are left with questions after this week's Red Rock concert. Both Red Rocks and Live Nation, the promoter of Wednesday's show, used contract meteorologists to keep an eye on the forecast during live events at the amphitheater. A spokesman for the amphitheater told us that the venue communicated info about the weather as they received it. The spokesman for Red Rocks told us this was a once-in-a-lifetime weather event. He did say the venue is investigating reports of at least one concession worker not letting fans take shelter inside a concession stand during the worst of the hail. And he said, as they always do, Red Rocks will take a look at how things went and adapt where they need to in the future.
Like lots of Red Rock shows, this was one that was affected by weather. It's not unusual for us to go into a weather delay and then have the weather clear up and the show goes on. That doesn't mean that there's not ways for us to improve both communications and kind of rethinking about, could we do things sooner or more efficiently?
And this week's incident isn't the first time hail at Red Rock sent people to the hospital. A hailstorm interrupted an outdoor youth prayer service back in August of 1989. 130 people needed medical treatment, but not all for hail injuries. The Associated Press reports temperatures fell 20 degrees in a matter of minutes during that storm. First responders said most of the kids who needed medical treatment had hypothermia, elevation sickness, and panic attacks.
New overnight, CU Boulder police are investigating an assault that happened near campus. They put out an alert earlier this morning. It had very little information. They say it happened in the area of 13th and College Avenue. The suspect is a 35 to 40-year-old white male. CU police say they don't believe there is an active threat on campus.
The tour submersible taking people to see the wreckage of the Titanic lies in pieces on the ocean floor next to the Titanic. The Coast Guard announced that the sub imploded and no one survived. The Titan submersible went missing during a dive to view the wreckage of the Titanic on Sunday. A deep-sea robot spotted a debris field. Rescuers believe the Titan had a catastrophic implosion and pieces of the ship fell just near the bow of the Titanic. Investigators have not determined what caused the sub to come apart.
The Supreme Court ruled against the Navajo Nation over their right to the Colorado River. Now the U.S. has no legal obligation to ensure the tribe has access to that water. The tribe sued the federal government in 2003. They argued the U.S. failed to consider or protect the Navajo Nation's water rights to the lower portion of the Colorado River. The government argued it has helped the tribe secure water from the river's tributaries and provided money for water infrastructure, but that no law or treaty required the government to assess and address the tribe's water needs.